Admirals All by Sir Henry Newbolt. Admirals All, a song of sea kings. Effingham, Grenville, Raleigh, Drake, here's to the bold and free. Benbow, Collingwood, Byron, Blake, hail to the kings of the sea. Admirals all, for England's sake, honour be yours and fame, and honour as long as waves shall break, to Nelson's peerless name. Admirals all, for England's sake, honour be yours and fame, and honour as long as waves shall break, to Nelson's peerless name. Essex was fretting in Cadiz Bay, with the galleons fair in sight. Howard at last must give him his way, and the word was passed to fight. Never was schoolboy gayer than he, since holidays first began. He tossed his bonnet to wind and sea, and under the guns he ran. Drake nor devil nor Spaniard feared, their cities he put to the sack. He singed his Catholic Majesty's beard, and harried his ships to wrack. He was playing at Plymouth a rubber of bowls, when the great Armada came. But he said, they must wait their turn, good souls, and he stooped and finished the game. 15 sail were the Dutchmen bold, Duncan he had but 2, but he anchored them fast where the Texel shoaled, and his colours aloft he flew. I've taken the depth to a fathom, he cried, and I'll sink with a right good will, for I know when we're all of us under the tide, my flag will be fluttering still. Splinters were flying above, below, when Nelson sailed the Sound. Mark you, I wouldn't be elsewhere now, said he, for £1,000. The Admiral's signal bade him fly, but he wickedly wagged his head. He clapped the glass to his sightless eye, and I'm damned if I see it, he said. Admirals all, they said their say, the echoes are ringing still. Admirals all, they went their way to the haven under the hill. But they left us a kingdom none can take, the realm of a circling sea, to be ruled by the rightful sons of Blake, and the Rodneys yet to be. Admirals all, for England's sake, honour be yours and fame, and honour as long as waves shall break, to Nelson's peerless name. End of poem. San Stefano by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. A Ballad of the Bold Menelaus. It was morning at St. Helens in the great and gallant days, and the sea beneath the sun glittered wide, when the frigate set her courses all a-shimmer in the haze, and she hauled her cable home and took the tide. She'd a right fighting company, 300 men and more, 49 guns in tackle running free, and they cheered her from the shore for her colours at the fore, when the bold Menelaus put to sea. She'd a right fighting company, 300 men and more, 49 guns in tackle running free, and they cheered her from the shore for her colours at the fore, when the bold Menelaus put to sea. She was clear of Monte Cristo, she was heading for the land, when she spied a pennant red and white and blue. They were foemen, and they knew it, and they'd half a league in hand, but she flung aloft her royals, and she flew. She was nearer, 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 they were caught beyond a doubt, but they slipped her into Orbitello Bay. and the lubbers gave a shout as they paid their cables out, with the guns grinning round them where they lay. Now Sir Peter was a captain of a famous fighting race, son and grandson of an admiral was he. And he looked upon the batteries, he looked upon the chase, and he heard the shout that echoed out to sea. And he called across the decks, aye, the cheering might be late, if they kept it till the Menelaus runs. Bid the master and his mate heave the lead and lay her straight, for the prize lying yonder by the guns. When the summer moon was setting into Orbitello Bay, came the Menelaus gliding like a ghost, and her boats were manned in silence, and in silence pulled away, and in silence every gunner took his post. With a volley from her broadside the citadel she woke, and they hammered back like heroes all the night. But before the morning broke, she had vanished through the smoke, with her prize upon her quarter grappled tight. It was evening at St. Helens in the great and gallant time, and the sky behind the down was flushing far. And the flags were all a-flutter, and the bells were all a-chime, when the frigate cast her anchor off the bar. She'd a right fighting company, 300 men and more, 49 guns in tackle running free, and they cheered her from the shore for the colours at the fore, when the bold Menelaus came from the sea. She'd a right fighting company, 300 men and more, 49 guns in tackle running free, and they cheered her from the shore for the colours at the fore, when the bold Menelaus came from the sea. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. Drake's Drum by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Drake, he's in his hammock, and 1,000 miles away. Captain, art thou sleeping there below? Slung atween the round shot in Nombre Dios Bay, and dreaming all the time o' Plymouth Hoe. Yonder looms the island, yonder lie the ships, we sailor lads a-dancing heel and toe, and the shore lights flashing, and the night tide dashing, he sees it all so plainly as he saw it long ago. Drake he was a Devon man, and ruled the Devon seas. Captain, art thou sleeping there below? Roving though his death fell, he went wi' heart at ease, a-dreaming all the time o' Plymouth Hoe. Take my drum to England, hang it by the shore, strike it when your powder's running low. If the Dons sight Devon, I'll quit the port o' heaven, and drum them up the channel as we drummed them long ago. Drake he's in his hammock till the great armadas come. Captain, art thou sleeping there below? Slung atween the round shot, listening for the drum, and dreaming all the time o' Plymouth Hoe. Call him on the deep sea, call him up the sound, call him when ye sail to meet the foe. Where the old trade's plying, and the old flag's flying, they shall find him ware and waking, as they found him long ago. End of poem. The Fighting Téméraire by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. It was 8 bells ringing, for the morning watch was done, and the gunners' lads were singing as they polished every gun. It was 8 bells ringing, and the gunners' lads were singing, for the ship she rode a-swinging, as they polished every gun. Oh, to see the linstock lighting, Téméraire, Téméraire! Oh, to hear the round shot biting, Téméraire, Téméraire! Oh, to see the linstock lighting, and to hear the round shot biting, for we're all in love with fighting on the Fighting Téméraire. It was noontide ringing, and the battle just begun, when the ship her way was winging, as they loaded every gun. It was noontide ringing, when the ship her way was winging, and the gunners' lads were singing, as they loaded every gun. There'll be many grim and gory, Téméraire, Téméraire! There'll be few to tell the story, Téméraire, Téméraire! There'll be many grim and gory, there'll be few to tell the story, but we'll all be one in glory with the Fighting Téméraire. There's a far bell ringing at the setting of the sun, and a phantom voice is singing of the great days done. There's a far bell ringing, and a phantom voice is singing of renown for ever clinging to the great days done. Now the sunset breezes shiver, Téméraire, Téméraire, and she's fading down the river, Téméraire, Téméraire. Now the sunset's breezes shiver, and she's fading down the river, but in England's song forever, she's the Fighting Téméraire. End of poem. Hawk by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. In 1759, when Hawk came swooping from the west, the French king's admiral, with 20 of the line, was sailing forth to sack us out of Brest. The ports of France were crowded, the quays of France a-hum, with 30,000 soldiers marching to the drum. For bragging time was over, and fighting time was come, when Hawk came swooping from the west. 'Twas long past noon of a wild November day, when Hawk came swooping from the west. He heard the breakers thundering in Quiberon Bay, but he flew the flag for battle line abreast. Down upon the quicksands, roaring out of sight, fiercely beat the storm wind, darkly fell the night. But they took the foe for pilot, and the cannon's glare for light, when Hawk came swooping from the west. The Frenchmen turned like a covey down the wind, when Hawk came swooping from the west. One he sank with all hands, one he caught and pinned, and the shallows and the storm took the rest. The guns that should have conquered us, they rusted on the shore. The men that would have mastered us, they drummed and marched no more. For England was England, and a mighty brood she bore, when Hawk came swooping from the west. End of poem. Vae Victis by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Beside the placid sea that mirrored her, with the old glory of dawn that cannot die, the sleeping city began to moan and stir, as one that fain from an ill dream would fly. Yet more she feared the daylight bringing nigh, such dreams as know not sunrise, soon or late, visions of honour lost and power gone by, of loyal valour betrayed by factious hate, and craven sloth that shrank from the labour of forging fate. They knew and knew not, this bewildered crowd, that up her streets in silence hurrying past? What manner of death should make their anguish loud? What corpse across the funeral pyre be cast? For none had spoken it, only gathering fast, as darkness gathers at noon in the sun's eclipse, a shadow of doom enfolded them, vague and vast, and a cry was heard, unfathered of earthly lips. What of the ships, O Carthage? Carthage, what of the ships? They reached the wall, and nowise strange it seemed to find the gates unguarded and open wide. They climbed the shoulder, and meet enough they deemed the black that shrouded the seaward rampart's side, and veiled in drooping gloom the turret's pride. But this was naught, for suddenly down the slope they saw the harbour, and sense within them died. Keel nor mast was there, rudder nor rope. It lay like a sea-hawk's eyrie, spoiled of life and hope. Beyond, where dawn was a glittering carpet rolled, from sky to shore on level and endless seas, hardly their eyes discerned in a dazzle of gold, that here in 50s, yonder in 2s and 3s, the ships they sort, like a swarm of drowning bees, by a wanton gust on the pool of a mill-dam hurled, floated forsaken of life-giving tide and breeze, their oars broken, their sails for ever furled, for ever deserted the bulwarks that guarded the wealth of the world. A moment yet, with breathing quickly drawn, and hands a-grip, the Carthaginian folk stared in the bright untroubled face of dawn, and strove with vehement heaped denial to choke their sure surmise of fate's impending stroke. Vainly, for even now beneath their gaze 1,000 delicate spires of distant smoke reddened the disk of the sun with a stealthy haze, and the smouldering grief of a nation burst with a kindling blaze. O dying Carthage, so their passion raved, would naught but these the conqueror's hate assuage? If these be taken, how may the land be saved, whose meat and drink was empire, age by age? And bitter memory cursed with idle rage, the greed that coveted gold beyond renown, the feeble hearts that feared their heritage, the hands that cast the sea-king's sceptre down, and left to alien brows their famed ancestral crown. The endless noon, the endless evening through, all other needs forgetting, great or small, they drank despair with thirst whose torment grew as the hours died beneath that stifling pall. At last they saw the fires to blackness fall, one after one, and slowly turned them home, a little longer yet their own to call, a city enslaved, and where the bonds of Rome, with weary hearts foreboding all the woe to come. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. Vitaï Lampada by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. There's a breathless hush in the close tonight, 10 to make and the match to win. a bumping pitch and a blinding light, an hour to play and the last man in. And it's not for the sake of a ribboned coat, or the selfish hope of a season's fame, but his captain's hand on his shoulder smote, play up, and play the game. The sand of the desert is sodden red, red with the wreck of a square that broke. The Gatlings jammed and the colonel dead, and the regiment blind with dust and smoke. The river of death has brimmed its banks, and England's far, and honour a name. But the voice of a schoolboy rallies the ranks. Play up, and play the game. This is the word that year by year, while in her place the school is set, every one of her sons must hear, and none that hears it dare forget. This they all with a joyful mind bear through life like a torch in flame, and falling fling to the host behind, play up, and play the game. End of poem. A Ballad of John Nicholson by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. It fell in the year of mutiny, at darkest of the night, John Nicholson by Jalandhar came, on his way to Delhi fight. And as he by Jalandhar came, he thought what he must do, and he sent to the Rajah fair greeting, to try if he were true. God grant your highness length of days, and friends when need shall be. And I pray you send your captains hither, that they may speak with me. On the morrow through Jalandhar town the captains rode in state. They came to the house of John Nicholson, and stood before the gate. The chief of them was Mehtab Singh. He was both proud and sly, his turban gleamed with rubies red, he held his chin full high. He marked his fellows how they put their shoes from off their feet. Now wherefore make ye such ado, these fallen lords to greet? They have ruled us for 100 years, in truth I know not how. But though they be fain of mastery, they dare not claim it now. Right haughtily before them all the Durbar hall he trod, with rubies red his turban gleamed, his feet with pride were shod. They had not been an hour together, a scanty hour or so, when Mehtab Singh rose in his place, and turned about to go. Then swiftly came John Nicholson between the door and him, with anger smouldering in his eyes that made the rubies dim. You are over hasty, Mehtab Singh. Oh, but his voice was low. He held his wrath with a curb of iron that furrowed cheek and brow. You are over hasty, Mehtab Singh. When that the rest are gone, I have a word that may not wait, to speak with you alone. The captains passed in silence forth, and stood the door behind. To go before the game was played, be sure they had no mind. But there within John Nicholson turned him on Mehtab Singh. So long as the soul is in my body, you shall not do this thing. Have ye served us for 100 years, and yet ye know not why? We brook no doubt of our mastery, we rule until we die. Were I the one last Englishman, drawing the breath of life, and you the master rebel of all that stir this land to strife? Were I, he said, but a corporal, and you a Rajput king, So long as the soul was in my body, you should not do this thing. Take off those shoes of pride, carry them whence they came. Your captains saw your insolence, and they shall see your shame. When Mehtab Singh came to the door, his shoes they burned his hand, for there in long and silent lines he saw the captains stand. When Mehtab Singh rode from the gate, his chin was on his breast. The captain said, when the strong command, obedience is best. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. The Guides at Kabul, 1879, by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Sons of the island race, wherever ye dwell, who speak of your fathers' battles with lips that burn, the deed of an alien legion hear me tell, and think not shame from the hearts ye tamed to learn, when succour shall fail and the tide for a season turn, to fight with joyful courage, a passionate pride, to die at last as the Guides of Kabul died. For a handful of 70 men in a barrack of mud, foodless, waterless, dwindling one by one, answered 1,000 yelling for English blood, with stormy volleys that swept them gunner from gun, and charge on charge in the glare of the Afghan sun, till the walls were shattered wherein they couched at bay, and dead or dying half of the 70 lay. Twice they had taken the cannon that wrecked their hold, twice toiled in vain to drag it back. Thrice they toiled, and alone, wary and bold, whirling a hurricane sword to scatter the wrack. Hamilton, last of the English, covered their track. Never give in, he cried, and he heard them shout, and grappled with death as a man that knows no doubt. And the Guides looked down from their smouldering barrack again, and behold a banner of truce and a voice that spoke. Come, for we know that the English all are slain. We keep no feud with men of a kindred folk. Rejoice with us to be free of the conqueror's yoke. Silence fell for a moment, then was heard a sound of laughter and scorn, and an answering word. Is it we or the lords we serve who have earned this wrong, that ye call us to flinch from the battle they bade us fight? We that live, do ye doubt that our hands are strong? They that are fallen, ye know that their blood was bright. Think ye the Guides will barter for lust of light, the pride of an ancient people in warfare bred, honour of comrades living, and faith to the dead? Then the joy that spurs the warrior's heart to the last thundering gallop and sheer leap came on the men of the Guides. They flung apart the doors not all their valour could longer keep. They dressed their slender line, they breathed deep, and with never a foot lagging or head bent, to the clash and clamour and dust of death they went. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. The Gay Gordons, by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Dargai, October 20th, 1897. Who's for the gathering? Who's for the fair? Gay goes the Gordon to a fight. The bravest of the brave are at deadlock there. Highlanders, march by the right. There are bullets by the hundred buzzing in the air. There are bonny lads lying on the hillside bare. But the Gordons know what the Gordons dare when they hear the pipers playing. The happiest English heart today, gay goes the Gordon to a fight, is the heart of the Colonel, hide it as he may, steady there, steady on the right. He sees his work and he sees his way, he knows his time and the word to say, and he's thinking of the tune that Gordons play when he sets the pipers playing. Rising, roaring, rushing like the tide, gay goes the Gordon to a fight. They're up through the fire zone, not to be denied. Bayonets and charge by the right. 30 bullets straight where the rest went wide, and 30 lads are lying on the bare hillside. But they passed in the hour of the Gordon's pride, to the skirl of the pipers playing. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. He Fell Among Thieves by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Ye have robbed, said he, ye have slaughtered and made an end. Take your ill-got plunder and bury the dead. What will ye more of your guest and sometime friend? Blood for our blood, they said. He laughed, if one may settle the score for 5, I am ready, but let the reckoning stand till day. I have loved the sunlight as dearly as any alive. You shall die at dawn, said they. He flung his empty revolver down the slope. He climbed alone to the eastward edge of the trees. All night long in a dream untroubled of hope, he brooded, clasping his knees. He did not hear the monotonous roar that fills the ravine where the Yasin River sullenly flows. He did not see the starlight on the Lasper hills, or the far Afghan snows. He saw the April noon on his books aglow, the wisteria trailing in at the window wide. He heard his father's voice from the terrace below, calling him down to ride. He saw the little grey church across the park, the mounds that hid the loved and honoured dead, the Norman arch, the chancel softly dark, the brasses black and red. He saw the school close, sunny and green, the runner beside him, the stand by the parapet wall, the distant tape and the crowd roaring between, his own name over all. He saw the dark wainscot and timbered roof, the long tables, the faces merry and keen, the college eights and their trainer dining aloof, the dons on the dais serene. He watched the liner's stem ploughing the foam. He felt her trembling speed and the thrash of her screw. He heard the passengers' voices talking of home. He saw the flag she flew. And now it was dawn. He rose strong on his feet and strode to his ruined camp below the wood. He drank the breath of the morning, cool and sweet. His murderers round him stood. Light on the Lasper hills was broadening fast. The the blood-red snow peaks chilled to dazzling white. He turned and saw the golden circle at last, cut by the eastern height. O glorious life, who dwellest in earth and sun, I have lived, I praise and adore thee, a sword swept. Over the past the voices one by one faded, and the hill slept. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. Ionicus by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. With failing feet and shoulders bowed beneath the weights of happier days, he lagged among the heedless crowd, or crept along suburban ways. But still through all his heart was young, a courage, a pride, a rapture sprung of the strength and splendour of England's war. From ill-requited toil he turned to ride with Picton and with pack, among his grammars inly burned, to storm the Afghan mountain track. When midnight chimed before Quebec, he watched with Wolfe till the morning star. At noon he saw from Victory's deck the sweep and splendour of England's war. Beyond the book his teaching sped, he left on whom he taught the trace of kinship with the deathless dead, and faith in all the island race. He passed, his life a tangle seemed, his age from fame and power was far, but his heart was night to the end, and dreamed of the sound and splendour of England's war. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. The Dictionary of National Biography by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Sitting at times over a hearth that burns with dull domestic glow, my thought, leaving the book, gratefully turns to you who planned it so. Not of the great only you deign to tell, the stars by which we steer, but lights out of the night that flashed and fell, to night again are here. Such as were those dogs of an elder day, who sacked the golden ports, and those later who dare grapple their prey beneath the harbour forts. Some, with flag at the fore, sweeping the world to find an equal fight, and some who joined war to their trade, and hurled ships of the line in flight. Whether their fame centuries long should ring, they cared not overmuch, but cared greatly to serve God and the King, and keep the Nelson touch, and fought to build Britain above the tide of wars and windy fate, and passed content, leaving to us the pride of lives obscurely great. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. Laudabunt Alii by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. After Horace. Let others praise, as fancy wills, Berlin beneath her trees, or Rome upon her 7 hills, or Venice by her seas, Stamboul by double tides embraced, or green Damascus in the waste. For me there's naught I would not leave for the good Devon land, whose orchards down the echoing Cleve, bedewed with spray drifts, stand, and hardly bear the red fruit up that shall be next year's cider cup. You too, my friend, may wisely mark how clean skies follow rain, and lingering in your own green park, or drilled on Lapham's plain, forget not with the festal bowl to soothe at times your weary soul. When Drake must bid to Plymouth Hoe goodbye for many a day, and some were sad and feared to go, and some that dared not stay, be sure he bade them broach the best, and raised his tankard with the rest. Drake's luck to all that sail with Drake for promised lands of gold. Brave lads, whatever storms may break, we've weathered worse of old. Tonight the loving cup we'll drain, tomorrow for the Spanish Main. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. The Vigil by Sir Henry Newbolt. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. England, where the sacred flame burns before the inmost shrine, where the lips that love thy name consecrate their hopes and thine, where the banners of thy dead weave their shadows overhead, watch beside thine arms tonight, pray that God defend the right. Think that when tomorrow comes, war shall claim command of all, thou must hear the roll of drums, thou must hear the trumpet's call. Now before they silence ruth, commune with the voice of truth. England, on thy knees tonight, pray that God defends the right. Hast thou counted up the cost? What to foeman, what to friend? Glory sought is honour lost. How should this be knighthood's end? Know'st thou what is hatred's meed? What the surest gain of greed? England, wilt thou dare tonight pray that God defend the right? So shalt thou, when morning comes, rise to conquer or to fall. Joyful hear the rolling drums, joyful hear the trumpet's call. Then let memory tell thy heart, England, what thou wert, thou art. Gird thee with thine ancient might, forth, and God defend the right. End of poem, read by Alan Mapstone. End of Admirals All by Sir Henry Newbolt.